gift of the Spirit called discerning of spirits that very few people understand, and everyone is supposed to understand. As a matter of fact, when you were 19, you're minding your own business, you go to a meeting where there's a prophet, and he singles you out. What happened?
Well, he asked me to stand up, and he begins to speak a word of prophecy over me. He says, Jonathan, the Lord's going to give you the gift of discerning of spirits. He's called you as a seer, which I didn't know what that was at the time. And he said, you're going to begin to discern spirits more than you ever wanted to, which at that point I had never wanted to, so anything would have been impressive. Yeah. So instantly I had this impartation where I received this prophetic word, and it started to happen. I started to see things.
What was the first thing you remember seeing?
I remember seeing a bookshelf that was in my house and seeing fire on it. And as I went over to it, the Lord told me there were specific books on there that I needed to read. And so I began to pull them down, and they were from different leaders that taught on the prophetic, taught on discerning of spirits. And the Lord was guiding me into the books that I needed to grow and learn in this gift at that time.
What is discerning of spirits?
Well, discerning of spirits is one of the 9 gifts listed in 1 Corinthians 12, and it's actually been a gift that's been given a bad reputation. It's not just discerning darkness, but it's discerning the presence of the Holy Spirit, their heavenly spirits, angels, the human spirit. We all have a spirit, Sid, so I can discern your spirit, I can discern people's spirits in stores or on the street. And then there's demonic. So there's 4 types of spirits.
Does every believer that's filled with the Holy Spirit, do they have this potential to move in this direction, and can it grow?
Definitely. It's there are some who are called as seers, some who are called with the gift of discerning of spirits.
What is a seer?
A seer is a high-level, a prophetic individual who operates in a high level of discerning of spirits.
Okay, let's go to this 30 days. Tell me the types of things you saw during this 30-day period.
Definitely. Well, after he prophesied over me, there was like a window of time that opened up for 30 days where I was overwhelmed. I was seeing stuff all the time. And I'd walk down the street and I'd see serpents wrapped around certain buildings, or demonic beings on top of certain buildings.
But you were seeing things and probably didn't really understand what you were seeing.
As much as I could, I stayed home. I was so overwhelmed.
Were you afraid?
I was not enjoying this experience, definitely. Yes, it was quite overwhelming, quite scary. And if I went to a store, I'd see objects stuck in people at times, swords, spears, arrows, and I didn't understand what I was seeing. So I kept reading, asking the Lord, what is it that I'm encountering here? I'd go to services where there was worship going on, and if the worship got cut off, like if the speaker comes up to share, and the worship got cut off at a time when it shouldn't have, I would see angels crying.
Really? You know, that happens a lot. I mean, I haven't seen the angels cry, but I know when the things are, you know, it's just we got too much to do.
Definitely, definitely. And so...
could you tell by just walking down the street if someone was a believer or not?
Yes, that was one of the most clear things, is that there would be a radiant light that shined behind a believer. It was like it shined out in all directions. And you could tell who a believer was because they carried the glory of God. And you could tell who a non-believer was because there was like a veil of darkness around them. It says in Corinthians that the God of this age has veiled the eyes of the unbeliever. There's literally a veil that surrounds an unbeliever. And so when I look at an individual on the street, if they're a believer who is being oppressed by depression or sickness, sometimes I'd see a cloud of darkness around them that was oppressing the light shining out of them. And sometimes I'd see body parts hanging in the air, and the Lord would say they need that body part put into them.
But then, as quickly as the gift came, it lifted. You must have really been concerned when it lifted.
I thought maybe I had done something